Welcome once again to Real Shame. I'm Adam.
I'm Andy.
It's a twice a week show where we review movies from our movie list of shame or movie blind spots. Earlier in the week, we talked about Black Christmas. That's the right word.
Yeah. Not Black Cauldron.
No, not Black Cauldron. And we decided to pair that up with a movie that both of us haven't seen.
Nope.
And that movie goes by multiple titles, but we're going to just call it by its French title, which is 36.15 Code Père Noël, or pretty close to that. So, what made you choose this movie, and let's get into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a movie. I actually hadn't heard about this movie until probably within the last year. I think I somehow read about it because I'm always kind of perusing the internet and looking at Reddit and stuff, and somebody talked about it somewhere, but I only heard about it probably in 2019.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, I need to find this. This sounds, because they're like, oh, it's Home Alone.
It sounds crazy.
Yeah, it's like Home Alone, but it's like a horror movie, and it's like a homicidal Santa or whatever. So I was like, yeah, it's right up my alley. That's the kind of movie that I love. So I was like, I must find this movie, but I didn't see where it had been released on at least Blu-ray in the States.
Yeah.
I saw like a German Blu-ray import or something, and I didn't feel like fiddling with all that. Well, luckily, Vinegar Syndrome, which is kind of a boutique.
They heard your prayers.
They did. They heard my prayers.
They answered your letter to Santa.
Vinegar Syndrome.
Through the teletype.
Through the Minitel. Vinegar Syndrome, out of the blue, said, hey, they're like a boutique Blu-ray label. They were like, hey, we're going to put out Deadly Games or Game Over or whatever they called it. I don't know. I think the box art says Deadly Games, so we'll go with that. Deadly Games, and so I was like, wow. And they put it out on 4K Blu-ray, so not just regular old 1080p. This is 2160. Blu-ray. So yeah, if you're so inclined to watch Deadly Games or 3615 Code Père Noël, whatever you want to call it, on 4K, now's your chance to do it. But I thought, you know what, it's a perfect opportunity for us to watch this crazy movie, so we did.
So I was reading that this movie really didn't seem like it got distributed in the US until like a few years ago, and I think it showed up at Fantastic Fest is where I read it. It was one of those kind of It was one of those draft house kind of movies that kind of brought it in, and that's what kind of brought it to the attention of people. So I do think it's like a relatively new, even though the movie is made in the late 80s, it's relatively new in this kind of market and stuff like that. And yeah, the movie it's like a crazy Home Alone meets serial killer Santa Claus kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's batshit crazy. And that's what's fun about it. I guess I'll go into my thoughts on it. I think the premise is awesome. Like, I really like this premise. I like the Home Alone riff, even though this happened before Home Alone was made. But I do like the idea of like a boy defending during Christmas Eve of a crazed kind of Santa Claus. Like, I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
A lot of fun, a lot of room for fun in there. But like I kind of said with Black Christmas. And even more so this movie, man, it just dragged in some parts. Like it was on the border of like boring a lot of times.
I don't think it was on the border. I think it was full in boring.
Yeah. Okay. There's some interesting things, but it feels like it never went far enough with any of them.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of like wound up just kind of like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was excited to watch this, but I was bored out of my mind for a lot of it. And it sucks because I really wanted to have fun with this movie. But I felt like, so I guess we didn't really say the premise other than it's kind of a Home Alone or whatever. Yeah. There's a little boy, his mom, I guess is like the head of like a department store or something.
Yeah, like a Barney's or like a
happening department.
It's very happening. Well, and it's, they're loaded because the house they live in is like, gigantic.
It's a mansion.
It is a huge mansion. They've got like caretakers and servants that live in other quarters or whatever, and you've got this
house has like secret rooms that the mom doesn't even know about.
This kid has all kinds of crazy toys, and he's got like a little thing he can punch and open doors. He's and like almost
doors
like
and Data.
Everything he is. And the refrigerator leads to like a hidden passage that's filled with all kinds of toys. So this kid, I would love to live in that house if I was a kid.
He wants for nothing.
Yeah, absolutely, he wants for nothing, and so they're loaded, and then you've got a guy that signs up to be a department store Santa, basically, at the store where his mom is like the president or whatever. This guy ends up, slapping a kid? Is that right? The kid like mouths off to him, so he like slaps him. So he gets fired, naturally. I mean, you don't want this department store Santa.
He slaps the kid like right in front of his boss.
He does. I wrote, he popped that kid. I was so surprised by that. But yeah, he slapped, right in front of this lady, the other kid's mother that lives in the mansion. And so she's like, "You're fired." Well, to take his revenge, he finds out where she lives.
Yeah, he goes to HR, that he happens to stumble across like
he hears
them delivering.
There's a shipment being delivered to their house.
And he's like, aha.
I'm going to deliver that. But before that, he's also talking with the kid over
on
the
computer.
teletype.
Which is so random.
Well, also, he had gotten a snowball. No one wanted to get in a snowball
Nobody
fight
wanted to
with
get
him
into a snowball fight with him.
Because he's a creepy looking dude.
Yeah,
he's a creepy looking dude.
I mean, I was just like, oh, this is so awkward, but it was hilarious. But I don't understand. He was like at like the ATM talking
the
to
teletype
someone,
or the
but like who, like that was strange. And
he was talking to the kid.
Is the president of this department store planning a party the day of Christmas Eve?
I love that, and they managed to pull it off.
Oh, totally! They had circus clowns.
They had everything. I wrote. She threw together that Christmas party quick. Like,
I mean, the street party, not even a party.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They had fire eaters. Like
that would take months
and
maybe a year of planning. They did it in one day.
Well, now you know why she runs a very successful department store.
She's extremely successful.
She must live 70, 100,000 miles away from the house because she was driving.
She drove forever. Yeah. That's true.
But her like boyfriend or clearly the guy who's interested in her.
Yeah.
Man, he got to her lickety split. So
maybe she drives like under the speed limit and he was speeding and that's how they got there.
But I do like.
But she did chill in her car a lot whenever her car got run off.
On the embankment.
For like an hour.
So the title of the film, 3615 Code Père Noël. So Père Noël is Father Christmas, Santa Claus. But the 3615 comes in, the teletype machine that we're all talking about. Apparently there was a machine called the Minitel, I was not aware of this.
No.
I did some reading after the movie because I was like, what the hell was that? It's a Minitel, and it was basically before the internet. It was a way for you to communicate with people online. You could buy airline tickets, you could buy train tickets. There was some online dating stuff. You could do bulletin board systems, electronic messaging. You could play video games. But apparently the most used like extension was 3615 and then whatever. So you had like 3615 whatever party time or what, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what all the extensions were, but it was always like 3615 and then something was a way for you to look up something.
Well, that means that the kid had it.
Yeah.
And he was reaching out to Santa Claus. So that means the creepy guy could put in a quarter and pretend to be Santa Claus.
Well, he was just like communicating like at the like the mall or something like that. Like airport or something.
No, it was like in the street.
Yeah, he was like somewhere like busy.
I don't know the logistics of it. Yeah.
And pretend to be Santa Claus. Like, that was crazy.
Yeah.
But the kid's like a genius, right? Like he invents things. Like he fixes the car.
Yeah,
he builds this home surveillance thing.
Yeah.
His mom doesn't mind that he puts a trap.
He's like Data. You're right.
He puts a trap in the floor.
And Grandpa, guys, we haven't even talked about fuzzy-eyed Grandpa.
I call him Grandpa Joe. I don't know what his name is.
Yeah, no, I thought the same thing. I was like, I got a Willy Wonka kind of vibe, Grandpa Joe, right?
Yeah, I do like his POV shots every time. Like,
oh man,
just to rub it in that he can't
worth a damn.
Yeah,
he could not see worth a damn.
And putting him where they put him
in the armor,
in the suit of armor. Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was amazing. But, amazing because it was like ridiculous.
So now that we're kind of talking about it, I didn't really like it overall. I will say I thought it was going to be, I thought the production design was better than I expected.
Yeah.
Like I honestly did. I just felt like there was a lot of I felt like there was a lot of montages. There's a ton of like Dutch angles. And there's just a lot of sameness to
Drama-
it. It just kind of
dramatization.
was the same thing over and over. I thought it would have worked better if the Santa Claus would have had like one-liners, like if he
Yeah.
would have been really homicidal.
Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah, like does. But instead,
He was mute.
he's
He does the
really
same
he's
thing,
kind of
yeah.
well. He does talk a little bit, but he just seems like a guy who's not all there upstairs. And so I'm not saying you feel sorry for him necessarily, but he just doesn't come across. I don't think they should have played it that way at all. Because when he finally does kind of catch up to the kid, he's basically like, "Tag, you're it. Okay, now you find me,"
Yeah.
or whatever. Like he's playing a game. I wish
Yeah.
they wouldn't have done that. I wish he would have just been like, "I want to kill this kid, and I'm a maniac, and I'm going to utter these funny one-liners throughout
Yeah.
the movie." But they didn't have any of that.
Should we talk about the first kill of the movie?
What was the first kill of the movie?
Is that the first kill?
Yes.
I thought he killed like the servants first or something.
I mean,
I can't remember.
I think the
but
servants.
I almost wanted to turn it off because that was the most realistic.
I felt like it was super tame.
No, I thought it was super realistic.
Didn't bother me.
Okay, well, whatever.
I think they like undercranked the camera when he was kicking the dog and stuff like that. But
Oh, I don't think
like
so.
it looked like it.
think-
I didn't think he was kicking it full
I
force.
didn't look
Like
like
kick the dog.
that. Looked fake to me.
Yeah.
No, that looked fake to me.
Whatever.
No.
But,
Well, the one part
Now,
I did,
if this was an Italian cannibal film, I would say yeah, they actually did do that. But I don't think they did that.
I do think like I did worry if the dog got hurt whenever it fell in the net. Like I do think like, oh, how did
Yeah.
they do that without hurting the dog?
And I do love that the
Stunt
guy,
dog.
like when he first gets it, when he's like, I'm gonna transform into Santa Claus. He literally takes the spray that you use to like winterize Christmas trees.
Yeah, I
and
love it.
just
I love
should
it.
Spray
be
it all-
dead in like 3 minutes because that's
Well,
so
He's huffing
awesome.
paint. I love it.
And,
That's my
and
favorite part.
I felt like they showed all that in real time. I was like, are they going to show him spray his entire hair and entire beard and
'Cause
everything?
he's like,
They had to pat
it
out.
was so
Yeah.
patchy.
They had to pat out the runtime.
Yeah, they did.
It's
They did.
amazing.
So we should mention the kid is having a crisis. He's starting to disbelieve in Santa.
Was he?
Yes, he was because his friend,
Oh,
his buddy was like, oh, there's no
I thought
Santa
your
Claus or
His
whatever.
friend like Pardue or whatever his friend.
Yeah, is it Pardue? I don't know
I
what it
think
was.
it was
No, it was like it was Pouet or something like that.
whatever.
I don't know.
It was. It
Like
was.
he was like the redhead, like chubby friend. He was.
Yeah.
It was like the
He wasn't redheaded, was he?
Yes.
But he was. But anyway, but he's so
Oh,
the
okay,
kid is
yeah.
starting to disbelieve in Santa. But then he communicates to Santa over this 3615 dial
Yeah.
of Santa Claus or whatever. And Santa's like, no, I'm gonna come to your house or whatever. And then
coming to
and
you
then Santa
tonight.
shows up and the kid is excited. But then Santa kills his dog and he's like, I'm not so excited anymore.
Adam
But
Wolf.
there's
Now-
there's
now
also
I'm gonna
like
get
this.
you.
There's also like this fairy tale thing that if you like see Santa Claus, he turns into an ogre. So I guess that kind of
I was
plays
in-
and
that's
plays
what the
into
mom
that
said.
stuff.
The
Yeah.
mom
That's
was
true.
like, if he sees you, he's gonna turn to ogre. So then when they went back to the dining room, I love all the movies that I love. You guys are like for boring. But there was this shot. It went back to the dining room table, and there were like these weird statues of like a creepy Peter Pan and some. I was like, oh, the turning into an ogre is gonna come back, and I mean it didn't, but
I think he
I
was
mean,
the ogre
I
in the
love
fact
the
that he was a
idea of
homicide
this
man.
movie. I really do. I
Yeah.
love the idea. I just don't love the execution. And
Yeah.
I wish I did more. I don't think this is the worst movie ever or anything like that. I just didn't like it overall.
I just think it's right for a remake. Like this would be a great remake.
yeah.
Like do it with modern like sensibilities and just like
keep the
turn
mullet though.
turn it. Yeah, oh, his mullet's amazing. Turn it up a notch. Like that's what I want. Because I want the kid to fight back too. Like the kid just like you have this whole like kind of like he's playing war in the house, and so you think he's going to be able to like hold his own even though he's a little kid, but ultimately he's just running from the guy the whole time. Like
Yeah.
you kind of want like
He kind of does get the drop on him a few times, though. I
And
remember.
I am all about like male characters having emotions, but man, this kid cried a lot for being as like the badass hero of the movie.
Yeah.
Push comes to shove, he was just bawling, and I was like,
Yeah.
dude, like I mean, because he just seemed like super. I mean, which I think might have not been. I was like, is that going to be deeper? But no, of course it's not.
maybe if Grandpa Joe got, it would have been more interesting too.
Yeah.
Kind of gave it some more stakes.
And I wanted that fake refrigerator to have like a fake refrigerator inside, as opposed to it just like opening and there's a pathway.
You can see everything.
I
yeah.
wanted it to be like when the door closes,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
otherwise, of course, you're gonna go in there. But if you open it and you think it's full of milk, you're gonna keep moving.
Yeah, and it was in the laundry room, which was really weird. So I don't think it was like it was. I don't know. It was weird.
The sauna, he almost locked him in the sauna. That would have been amazing.
And I expect him coming out like
was funny.
looking drastically different, but he really didn't.
He had like these two super like costume shop fake like long like glue-on lesions on his face at the end, like those Santa Claus. Then it was like they just kind of took the same spray paint stuff in black and were just like, and then.
I was kind of excited when they like went outside and the kid like got in the car and was like driving the police car and stuff. I was like, finally, we've got something other than him just kind of running around the mansion doing stuff. I thought they mixed it up a little bit there, but I wish they would have more of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think they used the miniature for the outside of the house was really good. They had like the panning shots of it. I was like, that's pretty detailed.
Yeah.
And like, I don't get why the friend came because the friend did nothing.
Yeah, he came and then he like
was like, no, get out, and the kid's like runs away.
Yeah.
But he even got there. Like he either lives next door to this massive estate, or he's like the Lance Armstrong fastest cycler because he got there pretty fast.
Well, you know, when he's not, you know, out there, they're doing the Tour de France, right?
Exactly.
That's true. That's true. Well, I wrote down Rambo. You wrote down Son of Rambo. So I think we agree the kid is kind of like, it's like a Rambo kind of thing.
Have you seen the movie Son of Rambo?
I have. It's been a while. I forgot all about it. Yeah.
This movie gave me a lot of that, especially at the beginning. Like I was just like,
agree with that. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously the filmmakers saw Rambo and wanted to impart some of that look on the kid.
Yeah.
Because you have the kid multiple dressing up and putting the stripes on him, you know.
Doesn't he like sew himself up at one point? Doesn't he like get cut and like sew himself up?
He takes a chair and like breaks it to like.
Yeah, he makes like a little makeshift kind of cast for his leg, but does he sew
he has
himself up or
a crutch too?
Am I thinking of
something?
Okay, I guess I'm making things up. Sorry.
That
never happened.
And he still cried all the time.
He did. That baby. What a baby.
You're making things up again.
What a loser.
But yeah, no, that was a legit kind of crutch when his like the back part of a chair.
But he like goes upstairs and he comes back downstairs and he goes upstairs and he has that crutch. Like he moves through the house very easily.
Moment of getting the dog, then burying the dog. You're like, dude, do this later.
So when we watch movies for the show, I'm not like drinking anything. You know, I want to be in the right frame. But I think that I kind of want to watch this again and be drinking some beers while I'm doing it. I think it'll probably make it more fun.
Turn into a drinking game. Like we'll find some way to make
every
it
time the kid cries, I'll drink. I'll be drunk like in no time.
Every time just the shot of the guy going.
The eyes.
Like, that was that. But he was like.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be wasted in no time. I won't even make it through the movie.
So, yeah, I guess at the end of the day, it's kind of a cool premise, but ultimately kind of doesn't deliver on that. A little disappointing.
Yeah, I wanted to like it a lot more than I did, unfortunately. Just didn't make it.
But maybe you're like Kirby and you think it's the coolest thing since sliced bread.
Maybe. Well, I'm glad you liked it. I couldn't, obviously, you know, as you said, this movie's kind of was unknown when it came out, at least over here. So I didn't find any, obviously, Siskel and Ebert or Leonard Maltin reviews or anything like that. But it does have a 48% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. But I don't know how many. Yeah. Well, I guess that's not critics' reviews, so I don't know how they calculate that.
All right. So, anything else?
That's it.
So, as we like to close our Wednesday episodes, we always like to answer a viewer question. And we chose one this week that is kind of in the same vein of the movies we're watching. And it's, what are your favorite Christmas or holiday movies? There's a bunch to choose from, and we're going to be reviewing some more as we go on this month. But, we all have, I feel like in talking to people, we all have our favorite kind of movies we like to watch around the holiday seasons and that kind of stuff. And we like those kind of movies. So, let's talk about what those movies are. So throw it over to you unless you want me to jump on first.
So just to be clear, we're talking about all holidays.
Yes.
Yes, Christmas, but also...
Arbor Day.
My favorite Arbor Day.
Flag Day.
Favorite Flag Day. Favorite.
New Year's.
So before, I guess we'll end with our favorite sort of Christmas movies, or at least I will. Obviously, Independence Day is not my favorite Independence Day movie. I don't have, for things like July 4th, for holidays where you just kind of cook out on the grill, I don't really have any movies that I watch around those days. But I would say, I definitely have movies around October and Halloween that I watch. Yeah. I have movies around Thanksgiving because I listed some the last episode and probably the episode before that, and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and stuff that I like to watch. And I do have some holiday movies around Christmas time that I like to watch. I would say, and Valentine's Day. Let's not forget Picnic at Hanging Rock. That takes place on Valentine's Day.
Let's not forget that movie.
Peter Weir's.
I've never heard of before in my life.
Picnic at Hanging Rock. Man, it's so great. So great.
Are you being facetious?
No, I'm not being facetious at all.
Interesting. Okay. I've never.
It's a very eerie and beautiful film. It's awesome. Yep.
Peter Weir, he's a modern director, right? Mm-hmm. This is like a movie came out in the 90s?
No, 70s, 75.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of his first films. Not his first film, but one of his first films. It's great. It's great. It's probably, in my opinion, it's probably maybe his best film.
So for me, like, I don't really, all my holiday movies kind of skew towards the end of the year. So I have like Halloween movies I like to watch, and I have like Christmas movies I like to watch and stuff like that. I wasn't aware of a whole lot of Thanksgiving movies, but apparently there's more than just two.
Yeah, there's a few.
So for me, so okay, so no grilling out kind of movies. We got Picnic at
Hanging Rock.
Hanging Rock for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I mean, there's other like Valentine's Day movies. Like I think there literally is a movie called Valentine's Day,
Yeah,
but
those
I don't watch any of
There's
that
a Valentine's Day, there's a New Year's Day, and both those movies are terrible.
Yes.
Yeah, there's also a New Year's. What is it? There's like a New Year's Eve killer movie. I can't
It's like
remember
New
that.
Year, New You.
Oh, it's New Year's Evil.
Oh yeah.
There's a New Year's Evil movie that's terrible.
Yeah.
Don't watch that.
I mean, Groundhog Day is a fun movie for
Oh yeah,
Groundhog
I forgot.
Day.
Well, yeah, I forgot about Groundhog Day.
We're jumping around.
That's a good one.
That's a classic, right? Everyone does that one.
Yeah. Okay, so outside of Christmas, I mean, I got to go with Halloween, the original Halloween for Halloween movies. I think that's my favorite non-Christmassy kind of movie. And then for Thanksgiving, it's probably Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It's probably my favorite Thanksgiving movie. But before I say Christmas, you can talk about some
for
of yours.
me, I used to watch Nightmare Before Christmas every Halloween.
Uh-huh.
And I kind of like we did for the podcast or for the show, I like to watch horror movies for around Halloween time. And I really don't have like go-to ones, except for Night Before Christmas was that go-to one.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of thinking more about doing that around Christmas this going forward, because I think it's more, there's that argument, is it a Halloween movie or if it's a Christmas movie, and what is a Christmas movie kind of stuff that happens, because a lot of people talk about Die Hard being a Christmas movie and stuff, and you can argue that, is it a Christmas movie because it takes place at Christmas, or is it a Christmas movie because it like imparts the spirit of Christmas onto the main characters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And if you're taking that latter definition, then Night Before Christmas is probably more of a Christmas movie, even though it takes place during Christmas, but also, Jack Skellington kind of learns about Christmas. So historically, Nightmare Before Christmas was my kind of Halloween movie, but I'm going to watch it here during the Christmas month.
Gotcha.
So that's my go-to, or was my go-to.
What's your go-to?
For Halloween.
For Halloween.
So for Christmas movies, my favorite movie to watch at Christmas is Love Actually. I adore this movie. Ever since I first saw it, I think I was not on board with watching it when I first watched it, because I think it was my sister wanted to watch it. But I mean, as soon as you see Bill Nighy singing and his character, I just like it. Just pulls me in, and that is probably my that's a movie I watch every Christmas, and it's probably my favorite Christmas movie.
We cannot watch it until, like, if I'm like, oh, let's watch it just in, like, July. He's like, nope, we watch that at Christmas time.
Yeah.
It's like a no-go. So I've not watched it yet.
No, we haven't, but we will. So that's probably, like, my favorite Christmas movie. It does take place around Christmas, so that's probably mine. Modern, and what about you, buddy?
I've seen that movie one time, Love Actually.
Really?
Yeah.
And
that was enough. I mean, I like it. I mean, I don't.
You should come up. We should watch it together.
Well, I mean, I will spoil things for people in the future. Richard Curtis wrote and directed Love Actually, and he's also wrote and directed a movie we're going to review at the end of the year, which is About Time. Right. Yeah. So I really like that writer director. So maybe you won't like that movie, but I like both those movies really well.
I mean, I like Love Actually. I just have only seen it one time. I tend to always watch Home Alone. That's become a Christmas staple for me. I like Home Alone. I actually don't. I like A Christmas Story. I know Christmas Story gets shown kind of like around the clock, at least on like TNT or TBS or something like that around Christmas. Man, I've seen that movie a lot. And while I do like it, I don't typically watch that every year. Yeah. I skip some years and then sometimes watch it. But yeah, I mean, I've just kind of Christmas storied out. Another one that I like Edward Scissorhands. I think that's technically kind of Christmassy.
It is.
I think it's Christmassy, but like, I think it's not crazy that
it's snowy,
yeah.
Right? I mean, it kind of, at least me, parts of it.
It's in the same kind of like gray area of like Nightmare Before Christmas, just because it's like, is it a...
I don't like Edward Scissorhands. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of I love Danny Elfman. I'm not a big fan of Tim Burton as a director. Like, he doesn't direct a lot of movies I like.
That is a choice.
And so, Night Before Christmas, I will also say, not directed by Tim Burton. Everyone that says Tim Burton directed Night Before Christmas, it's like sticking stakes into my eyes. It drives me crazy. Henry Selick directed Night Before Christmas. Tim Burton produced it. And it's based off a Tim Burton poem, and he did the character design. But it's directed by Henry Selick. Same guy who did James and the Giant Peach.
But Tim Burton had a hand in it.
Yeah,
but he's not.
like
He's not director. He's not writer.
People, it's
Danny Elfman.
But you said he came up with the characters for it?
He wrote a poem, and that they based off, and he did the character design. Also, it's argued that Danny Elfman did more for the story for Night Before Christmas than Tim Burton did. Sorry, this is my sword I'm gonna follow.
You feel very strongly.
I do.
It.
I do. It drives me crazy when people say that Tim Burton directed Night Before Christmas. He did not. Sorry. Okay, that's my diatribes. So we talked about a little bit what you watch. What is your favorite Christmas movie?
This is going to be a big spoiler, but it's a Wonderful Life.
All right.
Probably
I have not seen It's a Wonderful Life, but I know I will see it soon. Hint, wink, wink to you guys.
Yeah. No, that's probably my favorite one. I've seen that movie. I've seen that movie more than A Christmas Story, but I can still watch it every year.
My favorite. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, what's your favorite?
My favorite holiday movie is this older musical called Holiday Inn.
I watched that.
I love it. It spans many holidays.
Yeah.
It is where the song
It's the
White
most
Christmas,
holiday movie.
It's where the song White Christmas actually came from, and then it did so well they made White Christmas. But that is that's a great holiday movie, and then I do feel like I give the original Planet of the Apes rewatch at about May. Like, summer's coming up, so let's
go into it.
Let's get Charleston Heston going.
Let's get Charleston Heston.
Yeah.
Get your hands off me, you damn dirty apes.
Exactly. It's like
You maniacs!
Summer's here.
It was his all along.
Soil and Greenest People. Oh no, sorry, it's different.
It's so great.
All right.
It is great.
Did we answer the question?
I think we did.
I think we answered the question, guys. Thank you so much. That was our show for you. That was everything you wanted to know about our Christmas or holiday movie favorites. If you have a favorite holiday movie that maybe we didn't mention or we did mention, leave us a message below. If you're watching us on YouTube, leave that comment below. We'd be interested to read that. Maybe we'd start a discussion. Or you can shoot that to us at our email address, realshame@gmail.com. And if you have a question you want to hear us answer, you can also shoot us to that same email address, realshame@gmail.com. Follow us on social media. We're at Real Shame on Instagram. Like, subscribe, do all that sharing stuff with the show episodes, because that really does help, and we really do appreciate that. And stay tuned next week as we cross some more movies off our list of shame. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye.